Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Women in Engineering Affinity Group of the IEEE student branch at University of Ruhuna, it's my great pleasure to welcome you all to the second workshop of DesignHer 1.0. Following the success of our first session on UI/UX design, today we shift gears into front-end development, a key area in building modern, responsive, and interactive websites. Through DesignHer, we aim to empower young women to grow in the tech field by providing practical skills and valuable industry insights. We are truly excited for today's workshop, where you will gain hands-on experience and foundational knowledge in responsive design, React basics, GitHub integration, and even deployment. Now, it is my distinct honor to introduce our guest speaker for today. Mr. Tharaka Udayanga is a front-end development expert and currently serves as an associate tech lead at Creative Software. He specializes in React, UI/UX design, and JavaScript, and holds a BSc in computer science. With years of experience in building seamless user interfaces and scalable front-end applications, he brings both technical depth and practical insights to the table. We are honored to have him guide us through the fundamentals of front-end development today. Mr. Tharaka Udayanga, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sidri. So, hope you guys can hear me. Am I audible? Anyone?
Yes, sir, we can hear.
Yeah. All right. So I'm Tharaka Udayanga. I'm working as associate tech lead at Creative Software, and at the moment our team is working for a company called OneFlow, where we manage contracts. It's an online management system. So we are handling the integrations, and I'm working as integrations front-end team lead. And I graduated from ULS University a few years back, and I have been in the industry for a few years now. All right, so that's a brief about me, and let's start the session. And first of all, thanks for inviting me to the this session. Okay, so I will share my screen. So, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay, so when it comes to front-end development, let's first go through this session overview. So we will first go through the what is front-end and what is all about it and how we can develop it, build it, and those things. And then we will discuss about the responsive design and then single-page applications and React and best practices. And then we will develop a small application and connect it with the GitHub, and we will do a production deployment and host so that we can access our application, the public URL. Okay, so first things first. So what is front-end development? So front-end is the user interface where the users interact with our application. So that's the main layer. Like user first come and see the front end or the interface, and then started to interact with the application. So we have a lot of responsibilities to build these interfaces. So uh, like perfectly handle these interactions because user mainly depend on those things. Okay, so it involves HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and HTML is responsible for layout and the structure, and CSS we can use for styling and designing, and interactivity and logics handled by the JavaScript, and it runs in the browser. Uh, that's a brief about the front-end development, and I think you all are familiar with these basic things. But let's fine-tune these things again as a start. So this is the difference between backend and front end. Like front end is responsible for user interaction and the layout. It is built with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and it runs in the browser, handles the UI, UX, animations, and everything. These are the examples like forms, buttons, those things. And when it comes to backend, it's responsible for the things happening behind the scene. And these are few popular backend languages like Node, Python, PHP, and it runs on the server. It handles the API logics, databases, those things, and these are examples like storing the data, login validations. But again, login validations can be related to both front end and back end. Okay, now what is the responsive design? Responsive design means the website adapts to different screen sizes. For example, what we see in the desktop is not the view what we see in the mobile view. So we should build it that will work for every screen size. Uh, it should have great experience on phones, tablets, laptops, desktops, everything. And to achieve these things, we use like media queries in CSS, flexible layouts like Flexbox, Grid, and we use relative units like REM and VW. So these everything is related to CSS. Nowadays, we have libraries like Tailwind, Bootstrap, or Material UI, anything. So but everything is built on these basic concepts, so it's important to know these basic concepts. This is an example, a responsive design. As you can see, we should the interface should work for every device, basically iPads, or tablets, mobiles, laptops, everything. So we have a different look and feel and structure for every screen. Okay, now the single page application. So Previously there were like multi-page applications, but by when we introduced the single page applications, it's become like very popular because it's managed the updates and handle these dynamic content without reloading the page. Like you have used multi-page applications. When you go to another page or do something, you can see the page is reloading. But single page applications means like the name says that all. It's a single page. So it does not need to reload to do something or like to go to a different page or anything. We manage everything in that single page. These are popular frameworks like React, Vue, and Angular, and it has a huge performance increase. So it has a lot of performance and a good user experience. So, and we use client side routing. For example, if we take React, we use React router to navigate through the components or pages. Likewise, so the main thing is in single page application, the page will not reload. Behind the scene, it's the content will adjust and you can see the updates in real time very fast. So that's about single page applications. Now React. So React is JavaScript library. We can build user interfaces, and it's developed by Facebook. So we regularly use to build single page applications. So React is all about components. Uh, the main concept is we should split our codes. We should have our own small components, and all together we connect everything at a place, and so then finally we will render that main component into a HTML page. So React is everything about components, and then React is using a special concept called virtual DOM. So I will explain about virtual DOM in the next slide. Okay, key features of React. So as I explained, React is component based and it breaks UI into reusable self-contained pieces like smaller components. And then the virtual DOM. It helps to update the DOM manipulations. So like it does like batch updates, not like real DOM manipulations, because real DOM manipulations are very expensive and it takes a lot of time. So because of this virtual DOM, we have a better performance in React. So we can go through virtual DOM deeper in the next few slides. And React is about one-way data binding. Normally the data flow is from parent to child, and but anyway we can pass data from children to parent as well. So we can learn about that as well. And then the state management. If you are familiar with React, you should already familiar with these words like state, use reduce, use effect. These are hooks. Like we can manage the state with these hooks, and there is also a concept like set state, those things in class components. So we can learn about that as well. And then the declarative syntax, we should tell we need to like tell React to what it should look like, and then React handles the rest. Okay, now the virtual DOM. So this is the main concept React is following. Like the virtual DOM is a concept where it keeps a copy of a real DOM and it computes a difference that virtual DOM with the old virtual DOM and new virtual DOM. Only the changes or different, like it computes the difference and then it re-render only the changes. So for example, if we have some changes in the state, so we have already a virtual DOM, like as I told you, React keeps a copy of a real DOM, that's the virtual DOM, and if there is some update, React creates a new virtual DOM and then compare that old virtual DOM with new virtual DOM. So then we can get the difference. The only this difference will uh, apply to this virtual DOM at as badge updates. So React is not dealing with this real DOM at like real DOM. So in real DOM, it's very expensive because they are like doing these DOM updates at once. But it's in React, it's not like that. So they are keeping virtual DOMs, a copy of real DOM. Then it compares. This compare process we are calling reconciliation, and they are following algorithm called diffing to compute this difference between the old virtual DOM and new virtual DOM. So that's the main thing they are following. Because of this reason, the React has a better performance than a regular application. And okay, now we can go to the React core concept. So when it comes to React, as I explained, they are following the virtual DOM concept, and then we have functional components and class components. But nowadays, class components are outdated in the industry, so we are like mostly 99% we are using functional components and JavaScript. JSX means JavaScript XML or TypeScript XML. We can use both. Uh, so the thing is, we can write like HTML kind of a thing inside the JavaScript. In regular HTML, we write JavaScript inside a page. But when it comes to React, we write HTML kind of a language in JavaScript code, JavaScript component. So this is called JSX, JavaScript and XML. But the thing is, the browser cannot understand this language. Most of the people I think like the browser can understand this JSX, but it's not the case. There is a tool called Babel. So through Babel, this JavaScript and XML will convert into JavaScript, and JavaScript runs on the browser. The browser can only understand the JavaScript, not anything else. So you should keep that in mind. And then props and states. So I think for every React interview, these questions will ask like, what is props, what is state? So props are read-only data that we pass from a component to another component. If we are passing data from component to component, so those are props. We can't change. Only read-on. We can use as read-only data. And the state is the component internal state. So it's change over the time, and we can use the state we can use this state to manage our actions inside that component. So state means the data inside the component. Props are data passing from outside that component. And to manage this state, we can use state in functional components. It's a hook. So today we are mainly focusing about functional components. As I explained, the class components are a bit outdated now. In class components also, we can use set state, like this dot set state. Likewise, there were some methods, but today we will use functional components. And then the lifecycle method. So there is a concept called lifecycle. For each component, we have a lifecycle. For example, when a component get mounted on the DOM, and when we do some update on that component, and when that component get destroyed on the DOM. So for every these phases, like updating, mounting, unmounting, for every of these phases, we have life cycle cycle methods. Component did mount. So these concepts, these methods were in the class components. Component did mount, component did updated, should component update, or component will unmount. Likewise, there were some methods in class components. In functional components, we use hooks to achieve these life cycle methods. So I will explain them when we are coding. For now, keep remember the use effect hook is used to handle these life cycle methods. So we have to use, for example, if we need to do something, if a component update, we should use effect hook. So you will understand when we code. Okay, so we can go to the we can build that small application now. So we are going to build this kind of interface. You guys also can try with me. So I will explain this step by step. So today we will build a small application, a small interface with React and Vite. Uh, Here we will get some data, posts, images and titles from external public API. And so we will use that data, we will get that data from API call and display that data like this for different screens in different structure or different view. For a desktop or laptop views, we will show this this left side view, like we will show 3 images in a row, and then for iPads and all, we will show 2 images per row, and for mobile view, we will display in stack order. Likewise, we can display uh, those images. If we have time, we will do some actions also to check the user interaction of each image or each post. Okay, so we are going to use Vite. Nowadays, it's very popular, lightweight, and we have the hot HMR support, hot module replacement. It automatically reloads when we do changes. Uh, and also, it's faster than CRA, Create React App. I think you already know it's deprecated in recent past. So we can use Vite today, and we need this prerequisite. Like, I hope you already got the message. You should have the not latest versions and in PM. Better to have VS Code or any other code editor. And I hope you already got GitHub accounts. Okay, so let's start coding. I will stop the video. Okay, still you can, I think you can see my screen. Let's go to the slide again. Steps. First, we need to create the reactor. So we can use this command npm create Vite at latest this part. Then you can use the other part for your project name. So I will go to this folder and I'll open a terminal. Writing npm create Vite latest. And we'll name the repo as React Workshop. Then we will get for this we can use template also, but we will go step by step. Today we will use we will create a React app, and we need to now select the variant. It will, like, we can use TypeScript, JavaScript, anything, but today we will use JavaScript, and the project is created. So I will go to the project. Then I'm opening that in the VS Code. So hope you guys are also following me. If you have any questions, please let me know. And we'll open a terminal here. So I'm in that project. in the terminal we have got the instructions, then we should install the libraries. We can use npm install. It will take some time. If you got like if you have projects created using Vite already, then it will be very quick. Like it's very fast when we compare with the create react app. And then we can run the project using npm run this command. Okay, project is running. We can go to the url and you can see the react project is up and running. Okay, so I will can go to the design. So this kind of page we should develop, which heading, and we should show some posts in the interface. And when we develop, I will explain the practices and the things we should do, like what we are following at the industry level. So let's go through the code now. First of all, we need few libraries like first we need SAS. SAS is CSS preprocessor, like we heavily use in the industry. It's not the plain CSS, but preprocessor. Like we can have variables like functions likewise. So it's a bit advanced than CSS. Um, we will install that SAS. If you need this, if you are following me, you have to install this SAS like npm install SAS. Okay, it will also take some time. It's done, and then we need Axios because we are going to use Axios for API calls. We can use default JavaScript method fetch as well, but Axios is also heavily used in the industry because it's easier to use. It has many benefits than default fetch. We will install that as well. Okay. So we can check the libraries. Here we have Axios and SAS. Then we can go to the main index. Let's remove these unwanted things. We don't need the CSS. We'll delete it. And then we don't need this assets folder. And we don't need this. I think we can remove this everything here. We don't need this as well. Okay, write. Let's create a basic component in the app. So I hope you understand this basic structure, like not what is not modules, public folder, JSON file, and ESLint and all. So in the main component, we have imported app component, and we are we are getting the ID, the HTML div ID root. So this for this root we will attach these components. We are going to build and connect. We will build those components inside app component. So let's import React first. And then we will use arrow functions because regular like normal regular functions we are not using. Mostly we are using arrow functions when we write functions. And first letter should be capital. Should be arrow function, and it should return something. and I will return h1 for now. Hello world. And then we should export this. It's a default export. App. Okay. Let's check the terminal. Think it's okay. Check the. Yep. Let's this responding. Okay, the application is working. So now we are going to build that interface here. First, let's get the data from that API, public API. So here we need a use effect. Remove these things. We should export that first, import that first, use effect, and we don't need here we will call Axios. It's a get call, and here we will get the response. Sorry, we should have the URL here, and uh, we will call this endpoint. We will use this URL. If you need it, I will send you in the chat. So you can use this URL to get the post. I will use this URL. Okay, then it returns a promise. So we should catch that using .then. And it's a response, and then it should be the bracket here. And then we will get the, okay, before that we need a state. So there because we need to store these ports, right? So we will use state, using use state. Let's say we are going to get post, and then we can use set post to update the post variable. Here we are going to use state, and initially it will be an empty array. Okay, here we need to import use state as well. And if we have the response, we will set it set post it should be response dot data. If you use regular like fetch, it we need to convert that to JSON object, but with Axios we don't need to do that. Okay, and then we need to catch the errors if we have any errors. So catch error, we should and we will console log that error for now. Let's print some message there. Okay, then we forgot to import Axios. We'll import it. Axios from Axios. Okay. So our API call is almost finished. Then we will console it for now. So we can see the posts. Format it. All right. Then we can check the, so let me refresh this. So you can see the API call firing when the components mounted or rendered to the DOM. Because of the React strict mode in development, they are like strictly like forcefully firing two API calls. That's because of the strict mode, but this will not happen in production. You can see it when we uh, deploy to production. And if you check the consoles, you can see the post or the data is coming to our component. We can see that in the console. Okay. So hope you guys are also following me. So try to do that. You will get a clear idea about what we are going to do here. So for now, you can see we have used use state to manage the state, and then we have used use effect. This is also a hook. And I told you about lifecycle methods. So this is one lifecycle method we have used here, use effect to call the API call when the components get mounted in the DOM. This is happening only only one time, right? This is not happening like again and again. We will fire the API call on load. So that's the component did mount lifecycle. So to achieve that lifecycle method in functional components, we use effect. The thing is here we have used the dependency array as empty. So this is the way we are going to achieve component did mount lifecycle methods in React functional components. In class components, we have that method component did mount. Here in functional components, we use effect with empty dependency array to achieve this. Like if we pass the use effect with empty dependency array, this will run only once in the application. When the component get mounted, that will run. That's all. For example, if we want like to something, oh, fire this API call on some other variable changes. That means update, right? So there we can pass that variable here as in the dependency array. So that means component did update lifecycle. That's also we use effect, and another lifecycle method is component will now unmount method. That's we should call it like when the component get unmounted or destroyed or deleted from the DOM. So that to achieve that we will use effect, and if we write something in the return method inside use effect, if we run something in the return method, so that's the way we are trying to achieve that component will unmount method, because if we run something in the return method, that will run when the component get deleted from the DOM. So those are the three basic, like three main scenarios how we are achieving life cycle methods. So if you are uh, like expecting to participate for interviews or like for especially in React, so this is a very important concept. I think for every like 9 out of 10 interviews they will ask this question, like how we achieve life cycle methods in React, especially in functional components. Okay, so I hope you understand the state. Like we have initially the post as an empty array. Then when we get the data from the API external API call using Axios, when we have the success response, we are assigning those data, or we are updating this state variable with this data. Sorry. And if there is an error, in case if there is an error, we are like trying to catch it, and we will log something in the console so we can see the error. Okay, and you know about the return method, we should return something in this component. Yeah, so we have the post the images and those data. Then we should like build that structure here. As I told you, the React is all about components, so we should build like every smaller things as component. So therefore we will uh, add a component here called post. Then we will add the files inside this. We should have index file first, and then we should have post j6 file, and then we will have the post source file. So in the post j6 file, let's import React. And let's create the component post from, so it should be a function, and then we will return something for now. Return stage 2. So it have post now. Then we will export it. It's a default export post. Okay. Now we have this post component, and we will export that from here in the index file, because when we have the file URL, like when we have the relative paths, we don't need to like write post slash post dot jsx. We can just write as post. You will get understand when I'm writing that. From slash post. Okay, format it, and then we will import that from here. Posts. Okay. Okay, it's the app posts. Everything is okay. Then we will like have this inside the div. As posts. Right. Let's check the interface now. We have post, and let's have that title as well here. It was in the parent component, and now we have those two components. H1, this is hello world is coming from the parent component, and we have a child component called post. So there we have a separate folder for post, a separate component. So there we have these small elements for at the moment. So we will add more details now. So basic things are working fine, and then here we have the data in the main component, and then let's remove this console log for now, and then we need to pass this post to the child component. So let's use props here. So this is where we use props to pass data from a component to component. We use props. It will be posts, and then we are passing this from app, and we should take it from the post inside post components. That's coming as props, and we will use destructuring here to get the post from oops, not the instruction, we will directly extract it for now. Posts, okay, and here we will check it first whether we have the posts or not. It's, now we should have the data in the child component. Let's check the console. Yes, we have the data inside the child component. And let's now render those data into HTML elements. Before that, let's have a container here, a class. We need to do some basic CSS before going into that component. Let's have it as container using simple letters. And then we need, let's create a SAS file for the app as well. Where we will add some basic SAS snippets. Okay, I have already things right. Okay, then we can import it here. Import app.css. Then we will add some codes here. When we are developing application, we should have like a variable file where we define colors, font sizes, and all. For this project, we don't have that kind of a file. We just write some basic SAS snippets here because we need a basic font size or the basic font family or how the text should align. Likewise, we should have something. So that I will use this file. Let's have the font size as 12, and then let's hold a moment. And so there's something called mobile first development, right? This is also an important concept. Like when we build something from scratch, or when we use SAS, we should like build it in a way it should support mobiles first, because that's the trend now, mobile devices. So the basic style should be like mobile styles. Then if we need uh, for styles for the other screens, then we will use we will write the other those styles. So for mobile devices, I will keep the font size as 12, and let's say the width is let's say more than 1000. It should be min width. This is, I'm writing media queries. This is another concept, like to handle the responsiveness, responsive design. We are writing media queries inside our SAS files. This is how we write media queries. Uh, like it's simple. So if the screen size is above 1000, then the style inside that as font size say for 16 pixel. So basically this is about like if the it is less than 1000, it takes from this. If the screen width is more than 1000, it takes from this. So uh, the thing is, we just write the basic styles to like that will relate to mobile devices, because we want to achieve the mobile first approach. So that's why. So let's check that first. Let's check the it's like it should be before that we will do another thing. Let's say we have h1 tags or h2p tags likewise, so then we should define those font sizes that will relative to the screen size. So we are not like writing the font size for every screen. So we should use relative font sizes. So in the slides I mentioned about REM or VW, those relative units. So here we will use REM for the H1. So let's we have H1. For that, let's use text align center because we can. The title should be center line. Then if we have H1, let's say it should be font size. Let's say 4 REM. REM. This is a relative for like relative units. REM. Basically, one REM means it relates to HTML font size. One REM is equal to HTML's font size. So that means it should calculate in mobile. The H1 font size should be like 4 by 12, like 48 pixels. In desktop, or if the screen size is more than 1000, it should calculate like 12 into sorry it's 4 no, then it should calculate 16 into 4, like the default font size into this h1's font size. So if we check the output now, this is the screen size is more than 1000. So we check the font size, you can see 64. 64 means 4M. 4M means in the HTML document we have given 16. So 16 into 4, it's 64 units, 64 pixels. And if we have a small width like less than 1000, then we have font size as 48. It's also 4M, but the HTML font size is 12. So that's why. Now we have like we don't need to like write H1 style font styles again and again for screen sizes. So we have done that already using relative font sizes. Okay, that's another important concept, like using relative units than fixed units. And then we can go again into the our posts. So here you can see we have a container and then h1, and then we have posts. So inside that we should again have a div. And there we will have a class name. Let's name it as post wrapper. When we are like naming these class names, also we have some standards. Example, we have a BEM concept, like BEM concept, but for this one I will not follow that. Or else we can like write like this, use these dashes to separate words, or we can like follow the camel case concept like this. So we should stick to one concept throughout the project. So that's the standard. Like if we are following some concept throughout the project, it should be like similar. So for one component, you can't have like this. You can like you have like this, and for another component, you can't have like a completely different style or format. You should follow the same format when you are defining class names. Okay, now we have a wrapper, and inside that we will have our posts. So there we are going to map through our posts. We have post, then we should use map function to iterate through post, then we will get to post. and then we will return, let's return the image first. Source, close it for now. Let's check the console, and if we check the array here, for each item we have author and a download URL. So we should use these two to display the post. We will use the author and download URL, right? And okay, uh, here we will use the URL as post dot download URL, and then we will use h2 to print the name post dot author, right? Okay, and this is another thing, like you can't return multiple elements from like single return statement. You should return one parent element. So because of that, we will use another parentive. And then let's format it. Okay. Let's have a class name here also. We will need it to style. Let's post, and okay, I will run it first and then explain it. Let's check it. Now we have the images, and also we have an error here, like each child in the list unique key. So here in React, when we returning childs with the map function, we should have a key. Like React will use this key to identify the elements uniquely and do the updates or changes quickly. Like it used inside the React to like have a better performance. Here as key we will have we should have a unique ID. So we will use let's use this post ID for now. Okay. Let's refresh it and check. Now data is gone. We have the data, and but it's not perfectly placed. We should do some CSS stuff to place these elements. And here, okay, I think I'm still audible, and I hope you guys are also following me. And at the end, let's all place our public URL so in the chat, so we can see whether you are following me or not. After we deploy our application to production, so let's all put your URLs here in the chat, so I can see that you are following. Okay. Now we have those posts. Now we should style it. Let's import our SAS file. It's post.sas. Okay, here we are going to have this as the parent wrapper. And okay, this is the thing now. So I explained about grid and flex, like flexbox. If I show you the design again, for desktop view, we should have three posts or images in a row. So we can use both flex and grid in this case because it's a simple layout. we should have 3 columns in a one row. Let's first use flex. Then let's see what happens if we use flex. We should, when we use flex, we should flex the parent. Our parent, sorry, our parent is the this div post wrapper. Inside this post wrapper, we have posts. I will show you the HTML structure in the browser. Here you can see we have this container is coming from the parent, the app component, and there we have the h1. And now we have inside the child component, we have this parent class, and then we have children's. Like we are getting data from API calls, so we have these children. So when we use flex, we should flex the parent. Let's flex the parent first. We have flexed it, and then we should mention the flex direction. It's row, we need rows. Now let's see what happens. Still the same. We can see because images for the images we haven't give any width or height, so let's make it more let's make it perfect now. And for now, let's have the inner divs. We have the class name called post, you can see. And for each post, we have image inside that post. That image should take the 100% only. And let's give height also. Let's give 300 for now and see what happens. Okay, now we can see images in a one row, but it's not like perfect. The images are, it's uh, it's not like correctly placed. It's like broken, kind of a broken. Okay, and then if we use flex to achieve this kind of layout, we should wrap our child components inside the parent. So then we will use flex wrap and wrap it. So if we wrap it, what happens? The elements are like wrapped, right? You can see it's wrapped, and but the items are not like correctly divided into 3 columns likewise, so we don't have the gap between. So for that we will use the width of the child element, like parent is post wrapper and we have this post child, where we will use with 100%. Okay, and let's see what happens now. Okay, for every image it took 100%. And so this is the like basic styles. As I told you earlier, we are following mobile first approach. Then we should write these styles that will match to our other screens. First we will write styles to let's write to iPad level. Let's say if it is more than 6, if it is more than like when we are mobile first, we write from min width, like first things for mobile, then from that, like if we have at least minimum width as 600, then we will use uh, like styles. We have to take the post wrapper, and then okay, and then we should get the post. So there we will get the width as, let's say, 50%. No, we should have some space now. Let's take 49% for now. And let's say if it is more than 900, we will take like 33%, because then we can have 3 columns. With we are dividing columns here. Okay, we have a kind of good structure now, but we don't have the space between the item. So for that we can use the gap here. Choose gap as 20 pixel, and in Flex we can justify content around or space using space between. So I will use that here to uh, balance the elements perfectly aligned. But if we since we have given the width, let's remove because we have only 33%, we give gap also, it will take more than that. With justify content we can balance that. We take this, so we have 1, 2, and 3. We have this 3 by 3 now. And but again you can see these images are not perfectly placed, because when with the width, these images are you can see it stretching. So it should not happen. To balance this, we should use the, because image has a width and height. According to that width, image is stretching, it should not happen. So to balance this, we use object fit. We can use cover, then it will cover the that box. Now you can see the images are perfectly placed, and it's not stretched like when we have these when we have when we have less width or a higher width. According to that width of the image, it automatically uh, adjusting the image, so it's not stretching. Now that's okay. So let's change the app's title as well. Frontend workshop. Okay. Let's have some margin also there. All right. So when we are placing these CSS properties, also we have an order, but that is not a strict one. But in the industry, we are using order. So there is a concept in CSS called box model rule. If I show it to you, uh, this is a very important concept. Most of the front end intuitives, like when you go into higher levels, they will, I mean, they ask in this question, like, what is the box model rule? So you can see in the browser, there is a box. So each element is a box, right? In HTML document, each element is a box. For we can see, like for each element we can see this box. It says all the details, like what's the padding, what's the border, what's the margin, what's the content. So in the box model rule there are 4 main elements. Here it displays like the content, the first thing, and then the padding, and then the border, and then the margin. So padding is the space between border and the content, and then we have the border, and around the element we have the margin. Like when you use the padding or margin, you should have a clear idea like what should I use in this case. So for that, this concept is very important. So when we write styles also, we are following that. When we write CSS properties also, we are following that. First we use content, and then paddings, and then border, and then margin, and then font related styles likewise. So according to the same order, we are ordering the CSS properties. So that's also there in the industry. Okay, our main page, like for the desktop view, it's all good. And then let's check the iPad view. So I think you already know like how to use the browser when you are doing front-end development. This is also very important, like having like network, checking network calls, uh, application memory management, and the console usage of the console, and checking the elements in the DOM, and you use the computed styles and everything. And also the responsive, like we have this icon here in the Chrome. I think in Firefox also we have these things. You can click on it, and then you have the responsive view. Here we can change the views, like I will show you the iPad view. Here you can see now we have two rows, like sorry, two columns per row for the iPad. And iPad, the landscape view also, it's more than 900. That's why we have three uh, columns. That's fine there. And we can check the iPhone view. Here we have one item in the row. Okay, so the flex, using flex, we can achieve this. Uh, that's one way. Uh, but this is a simple structure, so fine to use flex here. But we should use grid in mostly we should use grid because it's the uh, like when it comes to complicated structures, the HTML like structure can change, the design can change. So using grid is the like best technique. We can easily manage the layouts with grid. So let's remove these things for now. Let's use grid to manage the this layout. I will display grid, the post wrapper, and here when we grid it, we should mention like how many columns per row. Then we can use grid template columns property. There we should have one point, like one FR. So this is as I told you, this is the mobile view. So having one point, one FR, is in, like we need one FR, one column per the row in the mobile view. That's why we have one FR. And there also we here we don't need to mention the width per post because it's not like flex. This grid template columns is handling everything. So here let's keep these styles, this because this is image, this is for the image. For grid also we should have these styles for image, then the image will not stretch or uh, broken. And then here for the iPad view, we need to have two columns. So there we use 2FR, and we should repeat it. Let's repeat 2 by and 1FR, and let's copy this and paste here. For the desktop views, we should have three items like this. So let's check the here. Now you can see we have three images per row, and we have one images per row in the mobile view. We check the iPad, we have two, but the thing is we don't have a space between. So in that case, we can use gap. Gap, let's use as 20 pixels. That's it. So you can see it's very easy. We don't need to think about the width. We don't need to do calculations. That's very simple. We just have to, like, we just need this one single property, one line. So it will manage the layout. I will make it responsive, and you can see everything will adjust according to the width. Okay. And the main difference between this grid and flex is the layout, like the flex box I explained earlier is one dimensional, right? We can have rows or we can have columns, but at one time we have only one. Like if it is row wise, then we have rows. If it is column wise, it's columns. In flex, it's one dimensional, but in grid, it's two dimensional. So that's why we use it to manage these complicated layouts. We can have rows and columns. We can mention those values per each, like for both rows and columns. So for advanced structures, it's easy to have the grid. For example, if we want to have this image as big one, like likewise, if you need to have this row as a big one or smaller one, so in that case, we can easily manage the layout using grid. So the main difference is Plex is 1D, grid is 2D. That's it. Okay, and I think we have done the initial changes. Uh, let's do some other stuff. For example, let's uh, let's write some action here. So when, for example, let's when we click on this image, let's say when we click on this div, we should display the name in alert. Let's do that because we have some time before going to GitHub connection. Uh, okay, let's write on click function here for this div, and so have to post click. And if we pass some data, we should return state. Otherwise, it will call immediately. Here we will pass post dot author. Then we should write this as an arrow function because as I told you, we like for most of the time we are using arrow functions with the ES6 introduction. We will take the author here, and for the when we are passing parameters or when we write something in the JavaScript, we always use camel case. You can see here I have written like this the function. So here also we always try to use camel case because most of the time in JavaScript we tend to use camel case, right? And let's use alert to display it. Post author. Okay. Yeah, the name is displaying when we click on the image. So I have like this is a simple thing, but I wanted to explain like how we should handle the actions, use actions with on clicks or likewise. So, okay, that's the basic code. Let's connect this with GitHub first, then we can go deep into the best practices. And if I let's move to the slides again. Uh, Here, now we have the project in our local, so we need to like continuously integrate to this code. We need to change it or we need to share it with others. Likewise, when you are doing a project, so in that case, we use GitHub and controls our versions, and you can share the code. And for this session, I'll connect that with Vercel. so easily we can deploy our project to the production. Okay, so let's initialize a Git repository and add our repo there. So I will use this account for now. Let's create new repo. Let's use as React workshop. Let's create the repo. So here we need to initialize Git repository. So I'm inside this project. Let's init Git repo. Init. Okay. Then when we let the remote branch, so we should add our here we can get the URL and we should add origin to our repo. Okay, then we can add all our files and commit, then we can push it. So I will add all these files. I hope you guys are also following me, and then we can commit it. -m, we should write some message. So when it comes to real world applications, so industry standards, so we have separate procedure or flow for committing, like managing the GitHub. We are not directly committing to master branch. So when we implement something, we should use a feature branch, right? And then we should raise a PR to our master branch, because master branch is the live, the production branch. So we will not directly push our code to master branch anyway, like ever. So we should follow those things. And the PRs, so when we raise PRs, we are normally reviewing, so we should review it, and then after approvals we will merge the PRs. And when we committing, as best practices, we for now I have not used for these projects like code quality tools like ESLint, StyleLint. We can use to improve our code quality. We can use ESLint to check JavaScript, and we can use StyleLint to check the source files. Likewise, we have some best practices, and also we normally write test cases, unit test cases, integration test cases. So when we commit our files to GitHub, automatically we are calling those ESLint, styling those linters, or if we have test cases, we are running it. When if those are passing only, we are letting the user to commit to the GitHub. Other than if it fails, the developer has to fix those things at the local, and then only they can push to Git. All right. So I'll commit these things, and then I will push. I added commit, then I will push these changes to master for now. But in the real world scenario, in real world application, we are not pushing to the master, right? Okay, it's pushed. Let's check the project now. So I can see my files here. The project is uploaded to Git. Now the next step. And now we are going to use Vercel. It's a popular choice, like for front, especially if we have smaller applications like front ends to test, or like have public URLs, host our application. So it's easy to manage and very like it's connecting with GitHub easily. So we can, if you have already accounts, I think you already know how to do it. If you don't have an account, you can go to theversal.com and then you just sign it with the GitHub account. Then you can give the access. If, what are the repositories you want to give the access to the Vercel, then you can just easily deploy. I will show that. So now I have this project in GitHub. So if I go to my Vercel dashboard, here are the all like projects I have already. So I will import. I will create another new project here. If you are not familiar with, this is the site. This is the site vercel.com. And then I have like or given the access to my GitHub projects. So here we can import the GitHub project. This is just now I created this. I push this code. So I use that repo, and we just have to deploy. Okay, click on the deploy, and it's deploying. You know, it's first it's building. Like we need to test two things called build and deploy. Like when we deployed, it should first build the project and then deploy. So when building, you know, we have the SAS files, JSX files, everything. So when building, everything will like minifized, optimized, and have a version like it's not human readable. When we are going to move to production environment, so basically it's building the project. You know, we are using like tools like Webpack to build the project. So and then that minified version, so build projects will deploy to the production environment. So it's built and deployed, and we can continue to the dashboard. And here I can see it's successfully deployed. I can visit the site using that button. Okay, so as you can see, my front-end application is now deployed in hosted in Vercel. So anyone can access this URL, and I hope you guys are also have like followed me, and hope you also can put your links into the chat so that I can confirm you got something from this session. Uh, so that's about GitHub connection and hosting. So there's another thing, another slide, CI/CD. So you know we need to, you know, this is not a one-time thing, right? So when we continuously deploying, continuously working, we should push that code to GitHub, and it's called continuous integration. Uh, for the automations, error preventions, instant deployment. So for those kind of things, we should have this process, continuous integration. So when we do some improvement, then we will push that code to Git, and then in the GitHub we can automate those build process, test cases, ES linters, everything we can run it in the GitHub repo with connection of deployment tool. And here in this case we have used Vercel. So in Vercel we'll take care, like if we push the code to GitHub repo again, it will automatically redeploy it again. So we can see the latest updates there. Okay, so now we can talk more about our best practices. Um, and the first thing is the React is all about break our UI into small reusable components. I think you already familiar with this, and you know we should use meaningful and consistent naming, as I explained in the last time. So other function namings, everything we should follow a consistent pattern. And here we have not used any types. Mostly the most popular way is like if we use TypeScript, and if we are not using TypeScript, we can go with JavaScript with prop types, or Flow. Like there are some libraries to check the types. Uh, I think you know the difference between TypeScript and JavaScript. In TypeScript, we can catch the errors in the compile time, so that's why it's like we like more likely to tend to the TypeScript when we do real world application. And then we should have a clean and consistent code throughout the project. So we will make sure running test cases, so running ES linters, other linters to make sure our code is clean. And also we will, as I told you, we will do code reviews and all before we are going to production or master branch merge. And then the PO components. In React, we have a mechanism called PO components. So the PO components is if the props are not changed, like if the props are the previous props, and if they are not changed, the component should not be rendered. So to achieve that, in class components, we had like React.PO component method. In the functional components, we have React.memo. So if I explain it, we have this app component, and then we have post. So from app component, we are passing post to the post component. So the post component should not change if these props are not changed. So to achieve this, we can wrap this with React.memo. This is the way we should follow when we making PO components. So just that, this the wrap our component using React.memo. So then, if these props are not changed, this whole component will not pre-render again. So this is a best practice we use in the industry. Having PO components, because we can avoid unnecessary re-renders with this technique, right? And again, and high order components. High order components means we can uh, write a method to take a component as a parameter and return a new component, add something or return new component. So those are the components called high order components. And then memoization. Memoization is another technique we use. I will go to the code again. So if we, for example, if we have, let's say, expensive calculation, or we are passing some callback functions, so complicated functions to this component, or we are having complicated functions inside this component. In that case, we can use this memoization technique. In functional components, we use memo and use callback hooks to achieve this. For example, if we have expensive calculation, we use memo hook to memorize this value. So then it will not recalculate. When the component get re-rendered, we don't need to recalculate the same value again if there is an expensive calculation. So in that case, we will use use memo to memorize that. And if there is a complicated functions we are passing from another component, to remember that, to memorize that, we use callback. So those are the two things we follow in functional components to as memoization. That's also a good technique, so that helps to improve our performance. And then code splitting with React Lazy and Suspense. So that's also we use to improve the performance. I will quickly show that also. We can use React Lazy to lazy loading. For example, if we take the post, we have this post to load to go like see when the API call fires and get data, we have some time. So in that time, we should have a fallback component. Then the user will show that fallback component for that time. Then user like have some meaning, right? Something is happening, so that help us to keep the user informed, and it has like it's helped to improve the performance as well. We can use lazy and suspense methods. For example, I will use lazy, import lazy here, and suspense also. We can import this post inside lazy. Here we can have a const like post, and then we can use lazy. Then inside lazy we should return that component. We should import it like this post. So we have import that component in lazy mode. So we have this post, and so we can render this post inside a suspense block. Suspense like this. So we can wrap our components in the suspense block. So as a fallback component, we can use something for now. Let's use a p tag. Let's use loading or something text. Likewise, so now we have used lazy loading here until our post are getting from the API call and loads. We will show a fallback component. It says like loading. Let's see UI. You can see a small time until we get the response here. The loading text display, right? This API call is very quick. It gets the data very fast, so it doesn't make much sense in this case, but for expensive API calls this technique is very useful. So we will have a loading or some other things happening in the UI until we get the data. You can see here the loading thing, right? That's also another technique we are using in the industry to improve the performance. Okay, and then context API or Redux. This is also another thing in React. You know, when we need to pass data from component to component, we are using props, right? But there are things like if we need to pass data from component to component using prop, if we use props to do this, for example, if we are passing from, if we need to pass data from like there are three components A, B, and C. So let's say we are passing data from A to C, but we need to go through the B, like we need to pass data from A to B and then B to C, but we need the data only in the C. The component B don't need the data, but we had to like pass it. We have to go through the this through this child hierarchy, right? But if we the thing is the component B don't need that data, but still we have to pass it. This is called prop drilling, right? There is a thing called prop drilling that is like even though that component don't need that data, the data should go through that component to maintain that hierarchy or to pass the data. So that's called prop drilling. As a solution, we use context API or Redux to manage this behavior. Context API like is suits for a small or medium level applications. You know, for example, let's say when we are logging, let's say we need to get a token, right? When we are logging, we get a token. So in the other pages, for or like in the other pages, if you need this token at any place, so we should have that token, right? So we can do like, we can of course install that in the local storage or system storage also, but the thing is we can use context API to store this data in the context, and we can use context hook to access this data. That's one way. And from a larger, like large applications use Redux to like manage the global state. That's also there. Redux also there. Okay, and I think those are the things. So I think we covered the basic uh, concepts and the code structures, uh, and we have built an application, and we connect that with GitHub, and we hosted it. We discuss about the grid and flex, everything. So yeah, that's it from my end. So let's now, if you have any questions, you can ask me, and I can't see anyone has posted their links here, and I hope you followed me, and you could host your application. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. We have like around 10-15 minutes. Yeah. Anyone? No one.
So,
No questions.
thank you very much, Mr. Tharikudyanga, for delivering such a practical and engaging session. So as you mentioned, let's now open the floor for questions and answers. If you have any question, please feel free to raise your hand or type them in the chat. This is a great opportunity to clear doubts and dive deeper into the concept we discussed today. So if you have any question, please go on.
Yeah, someone is asking what are the limitations of Tailwind CSS compared to plain CSS or SAS. It's like this, like Tailwind or like any other library, Bootstrap, Material UI, anything, like those are based on classes, right? So anyone can adapt to that, but you should know what is happening behind. If you check these Tailwind libraries or CSS that's generate from the behind the scene, those are like CSS, right? So SAS is just like the CSS, it's just a preprocessor, nothing on that. We use it to like easily do our things in code, and we can manage can have standard way of code, like that's why we use SAS. But the libraries are like okay, and most of the in the companies are using these libraries now. Tailwind or Material UI, those are good, you can try it, but you should know these basics, like what each class does behind the scene, you know so then you will easily get those libraries. Yeah. Then no, like I think I haven't tried the backend part, but I think since it support the GitHub, it should work. You guys can try it. Versus. Any other questions? And also like not only these things, there are like many things. Especially, I think I didn't cover any JavaScript concepts. And JavaScript is the backbone, like for the web. There are a lot of concepts. I mean, a lot. Like we should. I mean, if you are interested in front end, you should master the JavaScript. Like it's all about the React is all about JavaScript, right? They are doing the things for us, but behind the scene is JavaScript, and we should know these basic concepts. Like in JavaScript, there are a lot of concepts. If you are interested, please master JavaScript, so then you can easily get this like uh, any frameworks, because React, Angular, Vue, these are popular in the now, but in after some time they will like there will be another thing. So, but everything is based on JavaScript now. So if you are good in JavaScript, you will easily get to know the other things as libraries. So yeah. All right, then it looks like no other questions. So I think we can wind up the session. And finally, and thank you again for giving me this invitation to this session. And I wish each and every one of you success in your life. Yeah, thanks again.
Thank you so much once again, Mr. Tharagudayanga, for answering all the questions so thoughtfully and clearly. And also, your deep knowledge of front-end development combined with hands-on examples has truly made today's session valuable for all of us. So thank you again.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
uh, as we near the end of this insightful session, we would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Tarak Udayanga. Your guidance has inspired us to explore front-end development with confidence. As a token of our appreciation, we would like to present you with a certificate of appreciation. Let's
Thank you.
all take a moment to thank him for his time, dedication, and valuable knowledge. Before we move on to the quiz, may I kindly ask everyone to turn on your cameras for a quick group snapshot? Can you guys turn on your cameras for a group snapshot? Okay, I think we are ready to go. At the count of three, screenshots will be taken. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, thank you everyone. Um, so before we jump to the quiz, we have another announcement. There's something exciting coming your way. Up next is the DesignHer competition, where you get to turn your ideas into real innovation. It's your chance to apply what you've learned, showcase your creativity, and stand out. Stay tuned for competition details, how to register, and yes, some amazing prizes are coming on your way. So keep the momentum and get ready to shine. We now invite you to take part in the quiz via a Google form based on today's session. The link will be shared in the chat and you'll have 10 minutes to complete it. Good luck, everyone. Quick remind, only 4 minutes are left. Okay, the time is up, guys. The quiz will be closed now. Great job, everyone. We'll be announcing the top scorers in the future session. And those who consistently rank across all workshops will receive valid certificates of achievement. As we've come to the end of today's session, on behalf of the organizing team, we sincerely thank Mr. Tarak Udyanga for sharing his knowledge and time with us today. We also extend our thanks to all participants and volunteers who made this workshop a success. Until next time, stay creative, stay curious, and keep coding. Have a wonderful evening ahead.